Advocate argues, or My Advocate's policy is that school uniforms should be mandatory in California schools. She supports this by saying that it would help identify intruders in the school, it encourages discipline, it gives an unadulterated view of a person, it creates an equal community, they are less of a financial burden, and it emphasizes the focus on education. Now, her first claim, it helps identify intruders in the school. My first problem with this is that she doesn't state whether or not teachers wear these uniforms as well. So if teachers don't wear the uniforms, couldn't other people come in and you still don't know if there's intruders. And another point is that she says that you go out and buy these uniforms. So if an intruder really wanted to come into the school, they can go out and get the uniforms and come back and intrude. As simple as that. There's not much dispute on that. Now, her second claim was that it encourages discipline. She gives several statistics on whether or not test scores and all of that go up or down, but I have other information that is not quite in line with hers. According to Barusima David from the Uniform Journal of Educational Research, he says that students who wear uniforms do not appear to have any significant higher or lower academic preparedness. And he goes on and says student uniform decreased behavior problems is not supported by research, and that there is, when it comes to absentees, behavior problems, drugs, and the F12 composition, which is reading and writing, the uniform versus non-uniform schools, their percentages are only within maybe 1 to 2% highest. So it's not really a significant amount of evidence to change the entire school system. She also says that it creates an unadulterated view of the person, but she doesn't necessarily define what unadulterated is. Does that mean pure? That, when I hear the word unadulterated, I think it gives a pure view. Now, others would argue that a school uniform is not necessarily pure. Look at any high school campus or college campus around Halloween time. Point. Also, her next point is that, it creates an equal community. Now, this may be true, and she says that because everyone's wearing the same thing, that they feel more connected with one another. Now, although that might be true, isn't high school and grade school the time for self-expression? And there's a quote by Dr. Tanya from School Dress Code Uniforms, Pros and Cons, says that since school dress codes affect children from expressing themselves, therefore they indulge into less desirable forms of expressions like piercing and tattooing, which badly affects the school environment. Students feel that they have been turned into robots without the ability to express themselves in society, which promotes individuality and self-expression. And I think that goes for both her claims, saying that it creates an equal community and that it emphasizes the focus on education. Because okay, so I'm sorry. Her next point was that they are less of a financial burden. And now, according to howmuchdouniformscost.org, it says simply a short sleeve blouse can cost as much as $50. And yes, some people do spend this much money on clothing, but not everyone. Same with a sweater or jumper, anywhere from $25 to $50. A solid skirt, $25 to $50. A blouse, $35. Just very large. It's a very large amount to be mandatory to spend. Also, you have to take into account that not everyone buys their clothes. A lot of them are hand-me-downs. So students or families with a large amount of kids, they can't hand-me-down their uniforms necessarily. So it's just more of a financial burden. And then her last one says that emphasizes the focus on education. And according to Burmese David from the Uniform Journal of Education and Research, he says this research empirically tests the claims made by uniform advocates using 10th grade data from the National Educational Study of 1988. Our findings indicate that student uniforms have no direct effect on substance use, behavioral problems, or attendance. So that's it. Thank you.